is a form of abuse whereby the perpetrator does things, either threaten the child, demean the child, calls the child names, those things that eventually hurts the child's self-esteem, hurts how the child sees him or herself, and also hurts the emotional development of the child. That is what emotional abuse really does. It hurts how the child see themselves, how the child not only see themselves per se, but how the child sees his world, and how the child even develops, how the child relates with other people. What you need to understand is that a lot of emotional abuse happens quite often, but most of the time, emotional abuse happens in the confines of the home. It happens at home. It doesn't most of the time doesn't happen in public. So, and again, it's difficult to actually identify which child is going through, which child is being emotionally abused, because when it happens at home, you can't know except you're at home with the child. And number two, emotional abuse is quite different because it doesn't leave any scars that you see. If, for example, let's say someone was accused of rape, you know, they can show you evidence, he did this to her, he did this to her. These are evidence that can be taken to court and the person can be convicted, right? So if a child is physically abused, you can see the marks on the child can be the perpetrator can be taken to jail. But when it comes to emotional abuse, there's no scar. It happens inside the child. So how can you prove to a court that this thing that's happening inside the child when there's no evidence of it? And our court is based on evidence. You don't have any evidence because it happens inside the child. So that is why this issue of emotional abuse is kind of a very tricky one. Because like I said, it does not leave any visible marks that you can show to people and say, see what's happening to this child. You know, and like I said, this is so commonplace where parents you can see it to people with children going to school, you can see the teachers doing it, and a lot of people do it to children, and they don't know that these things that they are doing to a child hurts the child. Not only physically, it hurts the child psychologically. And what you need to understand when we're talking about emotional abuse is the end game of emotional abuse. The end game of it is about control and it's about power. You need to understand those two things. The end goal of somebody who is emotionally abusing a child is about control. I want to control this child's life. I want to let them know that they can't do this without me. I want to let them know that, oh, I'm in control of their life. I'm in control. Then again, it's about power. It's about power. You want the person to know that you have the power over him. It's about you abusing a child because you want to show you have power to dictate the things the child can do. Let's say, for example, I need to collect maybe I need to collect money for school fees. I can demean the child and do all sorts of hurtful things to the child because the child knows that I have the power to pay his school fees. He cannot pay his school fees. So these are some of the things that come to play when the issue of emotional abuse come up. And please remember that it's about power and control. Whether the person who is emotionally abusing a child admits it or not, you need to understand that what their end game really is. I want to control this child. Oh, you can do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, like your personal slave or something. And then it's about power. It's about the person seeing you as, oh, the Almighty, the only person that can help them solve this problem that they're facing, whether it's going to school, whether it's doing anything in their life.